Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Ask Coach Marie. I'm Marie O'Neill, founder of Padma Life Coaching, and your host on this series. This is a place where you ask a question, and I give my unique opinion as a life renewal coach, astrologer, and past life regression facilitator. Please know that I'm not a therapist, and I will never tell you what you must do. Each week on Fridays, a new video is released with me answering 2 questions from the viewers. In addition to those 2 questions, I talk about various other life renewal topics. Let's go ahead and get started with the questions for this week. Our first question comes from Martin, who is in Little Rock, Arkansas. Martin writes, I need a bit of advice. I've been married for 40 years. Most of that time, I haven't been happy with the marriage, but I stayed because I never believed in divorce. Now I'm not so sure. Should I go against my belief and leave, or should I stay and continue as I am? It's a good question, Martin. And of course, ultimately, you are the one who has to answer that question. The only thing that anyone else can do is talk to you or give you advice, actually, to help you make that decision. As I said, it's going to be your decision what you do. I will say, based on your question, I believe that you either have the answer or you're close to the answer. When you're in a marriage, especially one where love isn't there, it's not going to benefit you or your partner. That's my view. The other thing that happens when you're in a relationship where there isn't love or it's not working for you, you can actually stunt your growth, your development, and that's not good either. In addition to your growth and development, there's the growth and development of your partner. Even though it's you who feel as though the relationship isn't working anymore, your partner can feel that, even if your partner hasn't said anything to you. My advice would be to sit down with your partner and have an open, honest conversation about the marriage and where it's gone, what's worked, what hasn't worked. See what your partner has to say about it. And once you have a good conversation, and maybe several conversations about it, then make a decision on what it is you want to do, whether you want to stay or go. If you decide to stay, then my recommendation would be to go to marriage counseling. There are wonderful marriage therapists out here, and maybe go to a marriage counselor. Going to a marriage counselor can never hurt. There's a lot of wonderful marriage counselors out here who are willing to help you. And so that's an option there. If you decide to stay, I would certainly recommend it. If you decide to go, then make sure that you are getting some therapy to get you through the divorce and starting your life over. If you decide to go, then you don't want to hold any animosity towards your partner. You want to make sure too that the marriage is complete. And there is a feeling that we get when we know a marriage is done, when it is actually complete. Every relationship is a karmic relationship. And sometimes we can feel when that is done and then it's time to move on. That could be also something that you're dealing with now. I don't know. It is on the table. When a karmic relationship is over, it is time to move on. And if we stay, we do ourselves harm. Now, if the karmic relationship isn't over and you leave, well, that's another story. That means that you are not done, you're not complete, and it's going to have to be completed in some way. Whatever it is you decide to do, make sure that it feels right to you to do. Make sure that you have looked at all avenues to see if there's a way to save the marriage, but if there isn't, then go and make sure you release your wife in a good way. without any animosity or hostility. Make sure that the divorce is easy. Make it as easy as possible, because you're talking about feelings, way of life, and it's not just your life who is involved here. So let me know in the comments section or send me an email and let me know what your decision is. And I do wish you well. All right, our topic for today is, what is the soul? We in the West, a lot of people in the West are Christian, so we talk about the soul a lot. In the East, not so much. It's the higher mind. It's the same thing. That part of us that is the spark of consciousness is our soul. And it, of course, does not have physical form. It is here observing what we're doing. It's within us. And if we are tuned to it, it can actually help direct us, which is fabulous if we listen to it. It's not the soul that is incarnate within us is not the entirety of the soul. It's just a small piece of it. The larger piece, it's outside the body. It never leaves the other side. It is a part of consciousness, a part of the divine. It incarnates because it wants experience, incarnates in form. And we live out our lifetime and move on to the other side and then come back again. The soul is gathering all of this experience because that's what it wants. It has much more knowledge of reality and what is going on and what truth is than we do in our physical state. And, let me clarify. When I mean our physical state, our personality. So we have a personality and we have a soul. The two are mutually exclusive. They're separate. And when we are listening to the soul talk to us, or a higher mind talk to us, the personality ends up doing the bidding or is in service to the soul. Because it's the soul that is incarnate, as I said, it wants experience, and it is developing too. It is not enlightened, it is developing. And it's developing through the experiences that it has in this particular incarnation. So this is how I describe the soul. And as I said, in the East, it's not the soul because it's really the mind. It's the higher mind, the mind that is outside of the physical form. We have the lower mind, which is our mental brain, and we have the higher mind, which is the soul. So anyway, I hope that gives you just a bit of information about the soul. There's a lot of information about the soul out here, so if you're interested in learning more, you can always do some homework. All right, our next question comes from Jay, who is in Miami, Florida. Jay writes, I'm a 78-year-old grandmother with 3 adult grandchildren who never call or visit me unless they want something. They never even say thank you for the money or any of the gifts that I send. I'm thinking of not leaving them anything in my will. What are your thoughts about this? Thank you, Jay, for that question. That's actually a very good question. And it's one that I have heard of before from other grandparents not knowing what to do because they're not hearing from their grandchildren, or, they're not sending thank you notes or coming to visit or call or anything like that. So this is a definite issue. And each grandparent has to decide what's going to work best for them. And of course, that means that you ultimately have to decide what you want to do about this. You can have conversations with the grandkids or their parents and get advice from them. I would certainly talk to the grandkids and just be open about it and let them know what you're thinking. You don't have to say that you're thinking of taking them out of the will or anything. You could just let them know that you want to see them more, or you want to hear from them more, and let them know how you feel when they contact you just for the money. Let them know that it hurts you and that you feel as though they're only interested in what you can do for them. Just be open. Observe how they respond to you and make your decision after a period of time. Now, with some grandkids, they love their grandparents. They just get really busy and they're just not available to check in as often. So you have to look at that. Do they ever contact you without wanting anything? I know that your note said that they don't contact you unless they want anything. Just check and make sure that that is in fact the case. And it may be, but ultimately you have to follow your heart on this one. You're 78 years old and you said that these are adult grandchildren. Do they need the money that you're planning on leaving them? Maybe you want to set up a charity. That's okay too. But overall, I would certainly, just be honest with the grandkids and let them know how you think and see what they do and make your decision then. It's a tough one. It's a really tough decision, and I feel for you having to make it. So send me a note. Let me know what you decide to do. Maybe they will start to reach out to you more if you let them know how you feel. So I hope that answers your question. All right, we have come to the end of the videos for this week. I want to thank you for listening to this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe and hit that little bell so that you can be notified of videos as they come out. As I said, I put out new videos every week. Send your questions to padmacoach@icloud.com. That's padmacoach@icloud.com. If you would like to know more about the services that I offer, please visit the website. That will be listed below. If you want to learn more about me and how I became a life coach and, about my life, please check out my book, which can be found on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or any place where you can purchase books online. The book is called And the Lotus Opened. The cover is right there so that you can see it. So anyway, that's it for this week. I will see you back here next week. Thank you.